Now, the table is always hot with current events and social issues, but sometimes the heat can get a little intense. Let's turn the temp down, take a breather, and get into this week's topic, cooldown. So, Andre, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite way to spend a Friday night and unwind after a long week?
I know this is supposed to be a cool down, Daquon, but the tip might have to stay at a little simmer because this
Oh,
question really hit me harder than I thought it should have. Because my answer is that I'm still working to figure out how exactly to unwind. I mean, I scroll through social media, read a lot of fan fiction, and watch movies and
hmm.
TV. And while those things could be considered fun to some people, for me, these things don't exactly get me to relax so much as help pull me back from going too close to the edge. I guess in a way that's technically unwinding, but I've been looking for ways to truly relax, but it's a little difficult for me for various reasons. Like, for one, I'm dealing with a mental health issue, which fucks shit up when when my mind is idle. So I can fall into a pretty dark, depressing place very quickly when my brain isn't occupied by something else to focus on. Which is why I'm usually always doing something, working on something, or planning to work on something. Trying to find out how to turn the dial down a little has been a process, to put it simply. I used to use liquor as a way to decompress, but alcoholism runs on both sides of my family. And when I found that I was wanting to use liquor as a form of escapism for my own mind rather than just to have a good time, I quickly had to let that go. And then there was the eating out, which also became a form of escapism for me that I had to mitigate because I went overboard with it. And it just, see, the thing about me is that I have a tendency to overindulge when I find things that bring me happiness, since being happy is a state of mind that can be a little difficult for me to remain in. Not to mention that I have an addictive personality, which is not a good mix when dealing with stuff like this, because indulging in anything that helps me unwind often develops into me taking on some pretty unhealthy habits. But on the bright side, I am in therapy. I'm finding better coping mechanisms and working through ways to treat myself better. So hopefully, in time, doing these things will help me learn how to unwind in a way that can help me truly relax, instead of for me trying to find a way to, check out of reality in a not so healthy way. But Daquan, what about you, bitch? I'm hoping your answer will actually cool down the table.
I think for me, I also have trouble unwinding after a week, but like I'm working on it and I feel like I'm still at a good place. I think for me the problem with unwinding is I use a lot of my free time to do my passion projects, which
Yeah.
are fun to do, but is also work. So
Yeah.
it's like I just had my work week. I'm taking the weekend to do all these crazy makeup looks, and I, I may have a makeup look that takes 8 hours, and it's just like, girl, I'm just adding another work
I'm
day
just
to my
working.
schedule. So it's like I'm trying to find a way to push my passion projects to the week without
Yeah.
being super tired, but I'm still figuring things out. But the things that I do that helps me unwind is like chores, which sounds crazy, but it's actually just a fun moment for me because I know that when I, for example, wash the dishes or I meal prep for the week and cook and
Mhm.
clean and do all of that stuff, that is also my time to watch anime. So I connected the
Mm.
two. Like I love watching anime. So I get the I get the productivity stuff done and also get to do something that's fun, and it's really became a really nice habit as of recent where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Saturday because Saturday I'm going to wash all of these dishes, I'm going to take out the trash, do this and that because I want to watch My Hero Academia or I want to
Yeah.
watch whatever anime that I'm watching at the time. And so it also just gives me a way to start the week fresh, which sometimes
Mhm.
you just need that reset of just like, all right, there is so much going on. Like, I just need to get all this stuff out of here and just start fresh and clean and just feel good about the space that I'm in. And that's the biggest thing, because I do have depressive episodes, and when those depressive episodes hit, this little tiny ass studio apartment becomes a depression room real quick. Like, you would be surprised at how much shit can be in this room. But it really starts with taking those small steps to unwind. And
Yeah.
I think it's also easier for me because I have a set schedule every single week, Monday
Yeah.
through Friday, 9 to 5. So once Friday 5 p.m. hit, laptop closed, nothing work related at all. And that's something a lot different than back when I had like retail jobs. And so one week my work schedule could be Monday through Saturday. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's Monday through Saturday, and then I have that next Sunday of the next week and all the way to Thursday. And those kind of work schedules can be really crazy and really hard to find a time to unwind because it's so irregular. So I think that for me, having the habit, having the consistency has helped me so much.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one of the things that I've tried to kind of work on as I've been, in this kind of self-love journey and kind of, learning how to mitigate my mental issues and stuff like that too, is by getting into some of the treatment options for people struggling with my particular mental situation. And so one of the ways that it is like, okay, going to the gym or like, stuff like that. So I'm trying to kind of work those things in. And I did notice that when I was going to the gym, the depressive episodes that I did run into were not as prevalent or not as intense, but I kind of fell off again because, depression and other things. And, the one that I'm dealing with. And it's just like, I'm trying to slowly get myself back into that because I know that I need it. Like one of the ways that I'm trying to, get my mind situated with it is that like going to the gym is not about getting skinny or not about trying to look a certain way, but going to the gym for me is about taking my medicine, quote unquote. It's like, this is the thing that I know for a fact has worked in the past. And yes, it's a little bit of work, but it does pay off for my mental health. And it does help me unwind and kind of, get to a little bit of a place of relaxation. And so I'm trying to kind of find those ways, loving myself, taking myself out, getting myself present, stuff like that, to kind of slowly get myself into the practice of unwinding and not having that, once again, be a form of just like, I'm going to the gym because I want to escape everything. It's like, no, I'm going to the gym because I want to I want to relax. I want to, take a breath,
Yeah, it's really about changing that mindset of just like, instead of escaping, it's like, what do you as a person deserve because you're a person? Like, going to the
Yes.
gym, like, I deserve to feel good in my body. I deserve a body that can allow me to do the things that I want to do. So going to the gym could be part of getting what you deserve. For me, I deserve good food. And so cooking good food is a way that
Yeah.
I can get that. Or I deserve a clean space to work in. I deserve a organized work environment. And so doing those things and kind of resetting your mind into having these kind of affirmations of what you're doing. Like, I'm doing this because I deserve a good meal. I deserve a clean environment. I deserve to be happy, and this is something that makes me happy, really helps to like kind of, I don't know, for me it like checks a box in my head of just like, okay, like, I like this.
No, but you ate. No, you ate that. You just got me on something right now. I didn't think about that. I deserve to have a body that I feel comfortable in. Or I deserve to have like, I think that that is a really great way of doing it. Like you said, like just if you change the mindset behind why you're doing something, it maybe even changes the feelings behind it. So it's no longer I'm
Right.
going to eat out. Oh God, I'm going to be because I'm, da da da. It's like
Right.
I had a really rough day, and I want to reward myself with a nice meal that I don't have to cook. And
Right.
like, bitch, you ate that. Like, you
it,
ate
it,
that.
it changes things from, okay, I have to go to the gym, I have to clean, I have to do this, and no, it's like, I deserve to have this, and so I want to do this.
Bitch, you better. Bitch, you better. Now, so many children grow up never knowing the full scope of what their culture has contributed to society and history. So it's time for a motherfucking change. Let's take a pause, rewind, and remind the world just how we did that. In an article on Britannica.com, we learn about Shirley Chisholm, born November 30th, 1924, in Brooklyn, New York. In 1968, Chisholm was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, defeating the civil rights leader James Farmer. In Congress, she quickly became known as a strong liberal who opposed weapons development and the war in Vietnam and favored full employment proposals. As a candidate for the Democratic nomination for U.S. president in 1972, she won 152 delegates before withdrawing from the race. Chisholm, a founder of the National Women's Political Caucus, supported the Equal Rights Amendment and legalized abortions throughout her congressional career, which lasted from 1969 to 1983. She wrote the autobiographical works Unbought and Unbossed in 1970 and The Good Fight in 1973. After her retirement from Congress, Chisholm remained active on the lecture circuit. She held the position of Purington Professor at Mount Holyoke College from 1983 to 1987 and was a visiting scholar at Spelman College in 1985. In 1993, she was invited by President Bill Clinton to serve as an ambassador to Jamaica, but declined because of poor health. Chisholm was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2015. Motherfucking black women!
Period. Like, love a black woman from infinity to infinity. So, in an article from blackpast.org, we learn about Thomas Green Wiggins, who was born May 25th, 1849, into slavery on a Georgia plantation. He was blind and autistic, but a musical genius with a phenomenal memory. Young Tom was fascinated by music and other sounds and could pick out tunes on the piano by the age of 4. He made his concert debut at 8, performing in Atlanta. In 1859, at the age of 10, he became the first African American performer to play at the White House when he gave a concert before President James Buchanan. His piano pieces, Oliver Gallup and Virginia Polka, were published in 1860. By 1865, 16-year-old Tom Wiggins could play difficult work of Bach, Chopin, Liszt, Beethoven, and Thalberg. He also played pieces after one hearing and memorized poems and texts in foreign languages. Blind Tom Wiggins became an internationally recognized performer, and he gave his last performance in 1905. He died 3 years later on June 13th, 1908, at the age of 59.
Black people.
Period. Like, we love a black musician. Memorizing pieces, that can be hard.
Bitch,
especially when you're talking about Bach and Chopin and all of those.
But no, what's getting me is the whole, like, bitch, by the age of 4, he could pick out bitch.
And he was doing this all while blind.
Like
it's hard enough for me to play instruments and I can see.
Daquon. But yeah, like, that is amazing. Like, black people said, baby, ain't nothing gonna stop me. Ain't nothing gonna stop me from being that bitch.
Period.
Now, as always, thank you all so much for watching, and keep the conversation going down in the comment box below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you are listening to us on our podcast, please rate and review on whatever platform you're using. You can also follow our podcast on Instagram and TikTok at the Melanin Margin for updates on new content.
And if you'd like to follow each of us, our handles are at Daquon MUE.
And at Andre Talks a Lot.
Now we will see you all next time on the Melanin Margin, where our goal is always to bring the marginalized to the spotlight in any way we can. Goodbye now.